Hello there, lovely people of YouTube. My name is Janaea, but you can call me Miss Honey Work It because there is nobody sweeter. Now, today's video is going to be about dating with locks. Now, a lot of people, when they see a woman with locks, they perceive them to be a few things like super earthy. They think about Erica Badu. They think about turbans, head wraps. And honestly, from what we've seen in the media, that would track, right? Like, locks are very natural. In fact, I truly think as a locked baddie that it's one of the most natural hairstyles you can have. It is the complete and utter, like, uh, unmanipulation of your kink, of your coil. Of course, one thing about black folks, we can find any way to manipulate something. So there is manipulation that I definitely do with my hair. But all that to say, like, I started my hair with a comb coil that just never got combed out. And now my hair is down my back. Now, what I will say is there are many stages that you will go through as a locked baddie, okay? And they're good and bad. They build confidence, they build character, and they just build overall charisma. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do the kids call it? Riz? Yeah, I just wanted to use that sound. But anyway, I feel like there are multiple steps you need to take when it comes to dating and finding your person. If you're gonna date, whether it's black men or outside your race. Now, I will say I primarily date black men. When I say primarily, I've only ever dated black dudes, and I'm really only approached by black men. But I am approaching year 6 with my locks, and I truly feel as if the guys that I attract has definitely changed up through the years. But before we get into the men, we have to focus on who we are, which is beautiful black women with beautiful black hair. And this is something that I feel like I should preface this video by saying. Now, what I think every locked baddie should do is figure out what type of baddie you are, okay? Just because you lock your hair doesn't mean you got to be one with the universe. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to have crystals and armpit hair if you want to lock your hair. If you do, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But me, that's just not my swag. If I had to choose someone that I would like look up to in terms of style, how to dress, just overall aesthetic, I am really into like Aaliyah J, like very put together, lots of beautiful makeup looks, being a baddie, heels, purses, pink gloss. I am not necessarily what you would like an Erica Badu baddie. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes when you go to look up inspiration or lock styles, you'll find you can be kind of limited. And I don't like that feeling. So one thing I always knew about myself was I never wanted to become like a turban wearing, long skirt, barefoot, locked natural. I can admire those women, but I have just always been into glitz, glam, furs, heels. My aesthetic would be more towards, like I said, Aaliyah J, Jackie Ina, Aaliyah's face. Like, I'm not necessarily into the super clean girl like you can get with Lori Harvey, but I'm not, Ari and Jada Wada where it's like you have that really promiscuous fashion. I'm somewhere right in the middle, and I wanted that to reflect from my head to my toe, of course including my hair. And so I just always kind of felt like the styles that were trending, I would always try to recreate them with my hair from the time I had locks to the time I finished. So one thing I can encourage you guys to do is think about what type of locked person you are. Like, are you that earthy person? Are you old money, clean, luxury? Are you minimalistic? Are you artsy fartsy? Are you alternative? And I think once you figure out your own personal style and how you want your hair to look, it will make it so much easier to find someone or to be flattered by someone and not just somebody's just wasting your time. Once you know what you're looking for and who you are, and you find your own look, and that drastically changes what type of man you'll get. And that's for any hairstyle: locked, curly, bald head, scallywag, whatever. As long as you know who you are and you can like radiate that confidently, the type of guy you're looking for will come and find you. Now, that being said, now that we know who we are, what we like, let's pivot over to actually dating with locks. And I can just give a few anecdotes. I locked my hair up in March of 2020. It is currently February of 2026, so I am fast approaching 6 years. Excuse me. Now, when I first started my lock journey, I actually was in a relationship with a guy that kind of championed it. Like, if I'm being real, some dudes could be like, sheesh, put a wig on. But he was pretty much supportive. Like, even if he didn't like my hair at all times, he kind of shut up about it, which made me feel better. Of course, I did Marley twists that first year a couple of times just to make myself feel a little better about the amount of shrinkage. I have a really, really fine hair. Yeah. And when you have fine hair and it's shrunken up to the most like littlest state possible, yeah, you might feel a little insecurity. Nothing too crazy though, but all that to say, like, I really felt like, I had a little insecure moments. It was COVID. I put on 50 pounds. Well, 50 is a stretch, but 30 is not. 30 was actually what I put on. And I just had to find myself and find my confidence. And it was hard. I was out here looking like who did it and why. But it's okay. I ended up figuring out what I liked, what colors I liked, and that allowed me to play with different styles. So the first year, it was very basic. You don't want to do too much. But after a year, I decided to bleach my hair. I had blonde hair. I had red hair. I just had all different colors of hair. Now, what I will say is when I had blonde and I guess red hair, I had more of an alternative look. I was 22, I think, feeling like Taylor Swift. 22, living my best life. But I also was young and not as composed, reserved as I am now. Not that I'm some super stank, uppity, auntie, but I am no longer rocking the New York style strawberry cheesecake. So I felt that when I had my hair like that, the type of dudes that I brought in were either alternative themselves. And surprisingly, guys, I got a lot of clubbers, like the guys that would be buying a $1,500 bottle at the club. Now that I'm older and my frontal lobe has developed, I guess I could kind of attribute that to like wild and crazy hair means you're down for a wild and crazy time. We all know that that's not what that has to mean, but if you're like a stupid, dumb guy and you see somebody that's at the club having fun, she got these locks, she's totally against the grain, and they're blonde and they're red, and she's wearing, BBL fashion, it's like, you know what, I might try my hand with this one tonight. But I will say, I actually got a lot of guys that were just in the clubs like that had unorthodox jobs, streaming. I won't say scamming because I'm just not into all that, but it's like scamming adjacent. Like, maybe I don't ask what he does for a living. I'm just gonna enjoy the brunch at Creole on 14th. I used to live in the DMV, but I don't even think that restaurant is open anymore, so don't go and look it up. But either way, it's all that to say, I just kind of felt like that hairstyle, that young, wild, and free hairstyle brought on a lot of guys that were also young, wild, and free. So after I had the blonde and the red, I actually ended up bleaching my entire head. Because when I had the blonde and red, I had just a couple locks that were blonde. But then I went insane and bleached my entire head. And that, one side note, I will say, don't bleach your head. Go to a professional. I got lucky. I did one round of bleach with a low number developer so my hair wouldn't fall out my head, and I felt like I got very bright results, but it was not toned. It was giving brass, it was giving sass, it was giving trash, no class, okay? But in a weird way, I kind of liked it. It was very warm against my skin tone, so it was just such a unique look for me. And again, like having the blonde locks that stopped right at the base of my neck. Again, I got the type of dudes that were just a little bit unorthodox, just a little bit you know, they didn't care necessarily about what their parent would think of you, if that makes any sense. Not to say, now mind you guys, now I have 3 degrees. I was living on my own. I had purchased my vehicle. Like, I was completely fine. I was self-sufficient living on my own in Alexandria, Virginia, at 22, 23, 24 years old. So it wasn't, my hair and my style didn't necessarily reflect my credentials and my accomplishments. But when it comes to dating, a lot of it is first impressions. And when you see me, you know, you can automatically think of a certain, you know, only young people or people that don't have a corporate facing job or something where you have to be an external communicator will have crazy colored hair and all that. And at the time I was working for a nonprofit, so you do the math. But I will say, I ended up moving back to Richmond, Virginia, and that is when my hair started getting longer. And let me tell you, once my hair started getting longer, that's when I realized, oh, okay, I figured out the most important aspect of wearing your natural hair, guys. Black men that scream at the top of their lungs that they want natural hair, natural hair. I want you to throw it up in a ponytail. I want you to be able to do this. I want you to be able to do that. And black women get irritated because they're like, what messy bun? Like, what sloppy ponytail? Like, shut the hell up. You're going to take this frontal and go ahead about your business. But I realized that black men don't care about your texture necessarily. There are some men that are texturists and colorists and they're hung up on certain irrelevant things. But what I've noticed is black men like long hair. And I won't even just put it on black men. Most men like long hair. It's super feminine. I don't care what anybody has to say about that. Like, you can't get mad at me because apples are crunchy. Apples will never be, you know, the consistency of an orange. It's always going to be an apple. Just like men will always, you know, equate long hair to femininity. So my hair right now is at about, I will give it like my bra strap. And the longest part of my hair is at or past my bra strap. Men of all walks of life started approaching me as soon as, 1, my hair got longer. 2, this is going to piss a lot of people off, but I dyed it my natural color, okay? And this was not me thinking that, oh, I'm never going to find a man about it. I didn't care. I was actually bored. And my hair had grown out so much from the bleach. I had a really stark line of demarcation from my natural hair color and where I had bleached everything. So I just thought it looked a tacky, ugly mess. So I was like, I just want one color. I just want to see how I look with jet black hair. I usually hate black hair, but I'm going to try it out just so I can have one color. Now, the jet black was very harsh on me. I now know that I need like the darkest brown, but dyeing my hair that one color, in my opinion, made my hair look longer. It made my hair look more full in a weird way. It just changed my entire look. It changed my entire look. For sure. Now, I am one of those people that like keeping my hair twisted. I just don't want to walk around with half afro, half locks. I just don't. But other people can really rock the untwisted look, and I admire them. But that is just not me. So having my hair one color, keeping it twisted. I have fine hair. I don't have big, thick, you know, free forms where it looks like Bob Marley. I have about 66 locks total. So when my hair is twisted, flat, it kind of, from far away, it has the illusion of a silk press. And so I found that when my hair was long and one color, the unorthodox guys still approached me, because at the end of the day, wearing your hair locked is just not the normal. So men that like women that are different will still approach you. But the men that are a little bit more clean cut also started approaching me just at a higher rate. Now, my dad growing up, he's a cable splicer, so I have just always had an affinity for like laborers, like blue collar workers that work with their hands, that get up in the mornings and go grind and are the backbone of society. So I would find that I get along and can meet with those type of guys very easily. Like, those type of men aren't necessarily wanting some trophy to bring to an annual party, to bring to a conference, to bring to a client meal. Like, they just like you for you and how you make them feel on in a private setting. But I've noticed when my hair got longer, when my hair was one color, that men that want to show you off started approaching me way more. Now, I would say this transition period happened between 2024 to right now. And the type of guys I've dated has definitely changed. I still love my blue collar workers, but I definitely have more options now that my hair is a little bit more normie. Hi, I'm normal. Like SpongeBob. But there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like because my hair is locked, I do have a sense of like rebellion inside me. Like, no, I'm not going to get a quick weave. No, I'm not going to get robbed by these hairstylists. No, I'm not going to conform to this Anglo-Saxon idea that your hair should be bone straight and bright and just easy to manipulate. Absolutely not. I absolutely love that our hair defies gravity. And I'm not talking wicked, baby. I just love black hair, and I have just grown to love my hair. I've accepted my hair for what it is. Locking my hair has just completely delivered me from just sitting around and being sad about my natural hair not matching my 3A bundles. You know what I mean? So when I wake up in the morning, I hit it with a little bit of water, baby, and I hit the Dow. Of course, there are some days I have a bad hair day. I just put on a hat. My hair's long now. It's like my hair has grown truly from water and not combing it and brushing it and slicking it back. And so I will definitely say my dating life has actually improved. Once again, I meant to reiterate this point, but the longer my hair got in being in a reasonable, natural looking color, men like long hair. Like, they want you to put it up in a messy bun. I can hit a messy bun, but it's just locks. My locks are sticking up and poking out. It's like my pineapple. Well, my hair is too long for a pineapple now, but you get the gist. Like, something where you can take it out of a ponytail and shake it and it hangs down. If you're in the shower and you're in the pool and you can get out and it drips and it's long, that's what men like. And I realized that I used to beat myself up about having kinkier hair and being like, and it's so easy to fall into that, nobody likes me. I'm a dark-skinned woman. I'm dark-skinned with kinky hair. And it's like, it's so easy to fall into the trap, like, these men don't like me, or to get self-conscious when, like, a lighter-skinned, wet and wavy girly is like flinging her hair around, no Willow Smith, whipping that hair, and you can kind of feel like, how do I compete with something that I perceive to be the standard? Now, like I said, there are always going to be some men who just, that's their preference. Like me personally, I love some light skin, so I don't get mad. I don't get mad. I love light skinned men, so how can I get mad at certain men for liking light skinned women? But I like everybody, but I have my preference. But I will say, a preference is usually all it is when it comes to men. And men can be attracted to multiple different things. They just gravitate towards certain styles. And I think that a lot of black men don't just gravitate towards wet and wavy hair. I think they gravitate towards long hair. I think they gravitate towards button noses. I think they gravitate towards pretty smiles. And I am just truly at peace with knowing, like, it wasn't me. It wasn't the kinkiness or coarseness of my hair. They don't hate themselves and hate their mothers. They just want long hair. And so all that to say, rambling aside, I truly believe if black women want to experience growing hair down their butt at rapid speed, if they want to experience being able to rip off their bonnet and go and just have their hair done, if they want to be able to experience like having true hang time without constant manipulation, I 100% enthuse locking your hair up, okay? There's nothing wrong with locking it up. I know sometimes, like, I'll watch Ashley Dalton because it's like entertainment, one, and then two, it's just like, oh, well, this girl is signed up and braved herself to be bashed by comments and Ashley, and it's like when you see someone on there with locks and everyone's telling her like, it's your look, it's your hair, it can make you feel like, oh, I would never lock my hair, or I won't lock my hair until I already secure a man because there's no way one will want me like this. I reject that in the name of Jesus. I feel like my dating pool has significantly increased now that my hair is long. It's natural and it's all mine. I save so much money by not having to spend $500 on hair every couple of months, getting it done, getting played in my face by these stylists. I love locks. So dating with locks can be a very fulfilling experience. But the number one key to have a fulfilling experience while dating with locks in your head is to love yourself and be confident. That's why I said figure out who you are, what you want, who you want to be perceived as before you start dating. Because it is hard when you go on a date and then you go home and compare and contrast yourself. You went on a date with fine shit and then you go home to stalk him and see what he liking and reposting, and it's all chicks with bust downs and beautiful curls, and it can make you feel self-conscious for sure. But if you already like, well, he know a real baddie when you see him, he spent that bag, he wanted to take me out, he must like what he see. You gotta be confident in yourself or else you'll get dog walked, and that's just real. Like, I'm being so real. So all that to say, like, being locked is beautiful. Natural hair is beautiful. I remember when the natural hair movement happened in the 2010s. And let's redo the 2010s in the mid 2020s. Like, I am so ready for a return back to being natural. I am so sick of clean girl and trad wives. And I'm like, let's get back to black, okay? Let's get back to loving ourselves and being proud of ourselves. Like, let's get back to the 90s where you had Living Single, where all the women on the show had different hair. Like, I don't know. That's just me. But I really, really think that locks will not slow you down in the dating world. You just have to know what you want. And, when you have your own personal style, other men will find you attractive. And those will be the ones you want. Because you'll be dressed exactly how you want to be dressed. You're not going to be dressing just to get a man, if that makes any sense. So, all that to say, thank you guys for coming to my rambling podcast. I'm going to be back with more crazy topics surrounding being black, being a locked sister, style, makeup, all that good stuff. And yeah, with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your day and stay beautiful, stay bad, stay sweeter than the rest, chat.